Sunglasses. My goodness gracious. Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for being here. Welcome, welcome to this beautiful setting in the North State, I like to call it very fondly. And I wish I had my sunglasses so I could see you better. We just had a really amazing briefing on a regional economic development plan. We Prosper Together, which you'll hear a little bit about. One of the things that I love about it is it's bringing these 8 counties together to share a vision and then really start to do the hard work of how to put it into action. And it means a lot to me as the Secretary of the California Department of Food and Agriculture of how it's bringing rural and urban communities together at the most community-based level to make sure that we all prosper together, which is a vision of Governor Newsom. And I want to thank you for inspiring this kind of work, which started when you were Lieutenant Governor, which you reminded us of fondly today. One of the elements of this really impressive plan is our working lands, which includes agriculture. But here in this part of California, it is home of our water source. There is nothing in life or the economy or our beautiful nature in this state that happens without water. And I'm very impressed with the work that we're doing together, especially when it comes to groundwater recharge and above ground storage as well. But the real opportunity for our future that farmers are excited about being a part of is that ability to recharge our groundwater basins. The water holding capacity there for climate resilience is very real. We saw that a couple of years ago with your executive order, Governor Newsom. And with that, I would like to introduce my friend and colleague, the Director of the Department of Water Resources, Carla Namath, to touch a little bit more on that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Secretary Ross, and it is a pleasure and honor to be here this morning. And after this morning's briefing about just the incredibly impressive work underway, especially around applied technologies, it also really suits the folks from rural communities here because so much of the water management and water and land management together is as applied as it gets, and there's no part of the state that does it better. The North State here is really blessed either with too much water or with increasing weather whiplash, too little water. So it really is time to take a look at our watersheds, just these amazingly powerful watersheds, which are, when they really run, the Sacramento watershed together with the San Joaquin watershed in the Central Valley, they double the water that's moved through the entire Colorado River. So you imagine the power of these watersheds from the Sacramento River to the Feather River, the Yuba, and the American. How we manage that surface water supply, how we manage those reservoirs into the future, including a new Sites Reservoir on the western part of the Sacramento Valley, how we manage them together with our groundwater resources. This is the place that gets it done. This is the place that establishes the partnerships with landowners, with water districts, with farmers and others to make sure that we are connecting our surface water supplies with our groundwater supplies and doing it in a way that importantly protects the incredible environmental resources here in the North State. So I can't think of any group of leaders that impress me as much as the folks here that really connect landscape scale, water resources management, not only to support the economy, but to support the environment here in the North State. We're going to be doing more to enable that groundwater recharge to happen more quickly. We are looking at several days of rain in the forecast, which is fantastic, because we're also planning for a year that overall has a high likelihood of being dry. So when we see these storms coming on the horizon for the next several days, our ability to go ahead and recharge the precipitation and get it underground so that we have that water there to rely on when we know dry conditions return could not be more important to how we prepare our communities for enduring, not just enduring, but thriving during the dry times. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to a Majority Leader of the Assembly, Ms. Cecilia Aguilar-Curry, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to beautiful Colusa County. This is part of my district, and it's an honor to be here with you all today. There are so many opportunities, and they're keys to our success for this region across working landscapes, biotech, clean mobility, and semiconductors. You know, to be successful, we need investments in infrastructure like water, broadband connectivity, and transportation. As a farmer myself and a representative of a largely agricultural district that produces many of our most sustainable crops and products on both of our state and global food systems, I appreciate the governor's focus on this present and this future driver of the California economy. What we need to do is to keep our food system supporting the 5th largest economy in the world. It's an investment in climate resilience, the efficient processing of high-yield crops, and new supply markets for schools and hospitals. We need to use these resources of this government to support these efforts through technical and financial support and our public buying power. Across our region, we're at the intersection of major watersheds and at high risk for floods, drought, and extreme temperatures. The need is greater than ever for local, state, and federal agencies to invest in our regional water infrastructure. So I'm so glad and so appreciative of California Jobs First and We Prosper Together, are advancing our important economic strategies that emphasize climate resiliency, equity, prosperity for all, so we can all be better prepared for the challenges and opportunities ahead of us. So thank you, Governor Newsom, my colleagues in the legislature, and the local officials with us today, like Jeff Sutton with the Vice Chair of the Sites Reservoir, who have approved and are accelerating the Sites Reservoir project, which will provide incredible agricultural and environmental benefits to the region and the state. I also want to thank Sites for collaborating with the region's tribal nations and my friends and constituents in respect to their needs and the impact the project will have on tribal, cultural, and religious resources. My colleagues and I at the legislature are excited to work on all these advancing the needs of our regions and our communities and refocusing on working and family farms. Thank you very much. Now I'd like to introduce Evan Schmidt, CEO from Valley Vision. Thank you. Thank you. Join up.
Thank you. Thank you, Assemblymember. Good morning. My name is Evan Schmidt. I'm the CEO of Valley Vision. We're a triple bottom line nonprofit organization focused on advancing inclusive economic development, environmental sustainability, and equitable outcomes in the Capital Region. It's an honor to be here with our state leaders, and I thank you so much for the opportunity to share our story with you. It's also an honor to be here in such a beautiful location at Davis Ranches, really immersed in the beauty and productivity of California's working landscapes. The Sacramento region's natural resources, including our diverse water infrastructure systems and our agricultural and working landscapes, really form the backbone of our region's economic vitality, environmental sustainability, and community health and well-being. So Valley Vision, my organization, serves as the fiscal agent and the regional convener for We Prosper Together. That's our California Jobs First initiative. Over the past 2 years, Valley Vision has worked with many partner organizations, businesses, and community members to create an economic plan that will bolster our region while creating jobs as well. Through trusted messengers across our 8-county region, we met with over 1,000 community members across really diverse venues. So think about tabling at community events, hosting creative charrettes, having one-on-one conversations, and having many, many community roundtables. We also engaged over 10,000 individuals in surveys, social media, and online engagement across 4 different languages. This work has set the stage for us to work together in new ways and reach deeper into communities to co-design strategies that will serve us all. We also conducted extensive research with respected organizations, including the Brookings Institution-affiliated Cities GPS, to inform a shared vision for our region that's based both on data and the lived experience of the people in our region. All this work has been instrumental in positioning our region to obtain and maximize investments to bolster our economy and uplift all of our region's residents. Throughout this process, job creation, inclusive pathways to livable wage jobs, and a climate-resilient economy have been our North Star. And we're really ready to do this work. The capacity that we've built over the last 2 years through the California Jobs First investment and the leadership of the state has created a foundation for us to jump right in. In the capital region, we're not only generators, we're innovators and creators. Not only do we feed, manufacture, and produce for the state and the nation, but we're constantly inventing and refining new ways to do this. Through this work, we've identified 4 key priority sectors for our region. And they've been referenced a little bit, but I'll give you the overview. The diverse and productive working lands, which you see around you today, feeding the world and sustaining our natural resources. Our innovation ecosystem, including manufacturing semiconductors and clean technology advancements, including battery storage and other clean mobility solutions. Innovations in biotechnology for medical and food production applications, business services, which encapsulate the largest share of high-quality jobs in our region and really include many of our small and medium operations. Valley Vision has long served as a regional steward organization for the capital region of California. It's been our honor to serve in trusted roles, including as our region's workforce intermediary, a climate and clean air coalition conveners, the ways that we get to champion digital equity, and always balancing research and community voice to build a livable future for all. So something we like to say is that we are fired up and ready to go, and our region is definitely fired up and ready to go. California Jobs First has provided us such a fantastic foundation to reimagine the economy for our communities by our communities. We know that there's hard work ahead, but we're focused on advancing a shared vision to create jobs, create inclusive pathways, and build a climate-resilient, equitable, and prosperous economy for all. It is now my very great honor to introduce Governor Gavin Newsom, as well as present our regional plan to Governor Newsom for his consideration. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do a quick photo with the plan. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate, and Evan, thanks for all your leadership and for your vision, Valley Vision. But before I begin, she talked about being fired up. I've got fire on my mind, and I'd be remiss if I didn't just briefly acknowledge all the men and women that are working hard, 866 of our own personnel that are down at the Franklin Fire in Malibu. About 11 p.m. last night, just shy of 11 p.m., there was a small fire that's now roughly 2,500 plus acres in Southern California, proving that fire season is not a season. It's year-round in the state of California. Just think about it. Just you need to make the statement. It's obvious to all of us, but we're in the middle of December, and yet we're experiencing yet another wildfire in Southern California. 7,000, by the way, 909 fires so far this year, burning over 1 million acres in the state of California. In anticipation of the Santa Ana winds, which are significant in this case and participatory in terms of the fire itself, we had pre-positioned assets. Over 100 assets were pre-positioned by the state of California, 55 engines specifically, aircraft as well, turned out to be prescient. We are utilizing those personnel and that equipment in real time. Of course, the challenge always in high wind environments, people want to see those air assets, fixed wing assets obviously are challenged, not by their inability to fly, but the inability to have the suppression actually impact the fires themselves. That said, we had 9 helicopters last night that were active. Some of the new investments the state has been making over the course of the last number of years, gone all in partnership with LA County and our mutual aid system. Speaking of mutual aid, I want to thank the Biden administration. No politics, no preening, no presentation of the facts. Immediately through FEMA, supported our FMAG and the 75% reimbursements to local government that FMAG, the emergency support, would provide. So that's already in place. 0% containment so far, and close to 13,000 people have been at least asked to evacuate or ordered to evacuate. Over 5,600 of the 13,000 have been ordered to evacuate, and we're already experiencing some structural damage. Forgive me for just laying that out, but I just want to lean in because I think it's relevant to this moment, to this plan, and to other component parts that I wanted to highlight here today. The world is radically changing. It's changing in real time. Economically changing, culturally, demographically, the world is reorganizing. And it's reorganizing around regions. And I think that's the spirit from an economic development and workforce development principle that has brought us quite literally here and brought this plan to light. I want to thank all of those 1,000+ folks and all the CBOs and all those who participated, 10,000 in the survey, and to the team assembled not only here behind you in front of me, but to the 40 formal members that are part of an active and participatory process focusing on the needs, desires, aspirations of 8 critical counties in this state. What makes this particular proposal unique and distinctive is that in many ways it defines the state of California. Urban, rural. It defines areas of prosperity, areas that we are promoting. You know, Colusa County, none of us are naive, and was made a comment was made in the roundtable we just had. Like Imperial County, is struggling always with its status, not an enviable status, of having the highest unemployment in the state of California. We talk about California for all. We talk about regions rising together, that we're all better off, we're all better off. One of the things we have to reconcile is these remarkable disparities. And within this 8-county region, you have remarkable disparities. And that's what we're trying to address. And that's what we're trying to bridge. Again, that understanding the recognition that we're all better off, and we're all better off. And so I'm particularly excited about this plan. This is the 4th, as was stated, of the plans that we've received. We were just down at the border in San Diego in the Imperial San Diego plan. We launched this effort a few weeks ago in Fresno and then went down to Kern County and Bakersfield. Again, looking at the unique characteristics of these unique and distinctive and vibrant parts of California. And I say vibrant parts because, make no mistake, this capital plan also includes one of the most dynamic economic regions in the state of California. The Sacramento region is one of the fastest growing regions in the state of California, which by definition makes it one of the most significant economic regions in the United States of America. And so it's about connecting those dots. It's about connecting those assets. It's about connecting the human capital and the physical capital. More on that in a second. And it's about stitching something together. And what we've done, just briefly, and then I'll move to second and third brief points, is that we have funded an effort the likes of which we've never funded in the past. And that's a bottom-up, inclusive, community-led effort, not top-down, not a one-size-fits-all economic plan, not an economic plan that I was mentioning to the team a moment ago that comes from the state and we try to sell down to the regions within the state. Quite the contrary. This is not our plan to approve. You've approved it. We embrace it. We celebrate it. And our job is to help you make it real. And that's what we've done. And I think this is the point that I really want to underscore and emphasize. These plans came with an investment in the regions of $5 million in 13 regions in the state. We funded the development of these plans and in real time provided an additional $14 million for early action. So each region received $5 million to develop the strategies and plans, and in real time, an additional $14 million, 13 distributions of $14 million in these regions to start making investments. So in the process of developing the plan, people felt empowered. They felt like this was different than just a plan that would collect dust, maybe have a hearing in the Capitol, and everyone would turn the page, not on the plan, but on the whole construct and move on. But what I'm most excited about is not what we have done and what we're doing as it relates to the implementation and the investments in the $14 million, but the $120 million that will be going out in a few weeks in competitive grants for early action, ready-to-go projects. And these 8 counties, this region, is eligible in that competitive frame for that $120 million. Those dollars will be available starting on January 1st. And these are down payments in the larger investments to get this economy moving again and to making sure every part of the state of California is, as we were saying, not just surviving, but thriving. let's talk a little bit more about not just the human capital, but the physical capital. Yesterday, California put out a brand new revamped website. I know what you're thinking. If you're thinking at all, because you may have tuned out after I talked about a website. But this, I encourage you to take a look at this website, build.ca.gov. Build.ca, California.gov. Take a look at it, because you've never seen anything like it. And there's two things that are unique and distinctive about it, not just the platform itself, not just all the graphics, not just all the information that's provided, which is next level granular information that details and lays out the $180 billion the state of California will be investing your resources in the next 10 years on infrastructure in the state. That $180 billion is the most we have invested since the 50s and 60s, the most significant infrastructure investments in California's recent modern history are being made in real time today. And if you want to go on that site today, you'll see in your community where your dollars are going. You'll see a status of all these projects, tens of billions of dollars that are currently being invested. And it's an interactive map. It actually is an amazing website. I don't say this lightly. At my own peril, I'm now hyping it up. Obviously, it's not everything, but it is something more than we've seen in a half century in California. I have people all the time saying, you know, we used to make investments. We used to do big things. Well, you know what? We used to, and we are. And you better get used to those investments, because in the next 10 years, again, unprecedented investments bring us back into the heydays of when we were the great state of California in the 50s and 60s. And we all romanticize that. It's a great state of California in 2024, 2025, and over the course of the next decade. And by the way, that includes Sites Dam, Sites Reservoir. Many different dams, some larger, some component parts, conveyance, investments that are long overdue. It's a $4 billion project, Sites. $875 million of state investment has gone through Proposition 1. About $44 million or so through the general fund has supported this project. But nothing more important in terms of support of this project than the streamlining that's now attached to Sites. Now, some of you may be familiar with this, some of you may not. We made a commitment a couple of years ago in the legislature, and I appreciate the Assemblywoman's leadership on this, that good enough never is, and that we have got to get out of our own damn way. The world we invented is competing against us. We're consumed by process, and we're paralyzed by process in litigation, in NIMBYism, and people, frankly, taking advantage of the public. And as a consequence, we fall behind. One thing to talk about how much money we're going to spend. You can multiply the value of that money in the context of time to delivery. Time to delivery is critical. Enough of the delays, which ultimately are intended to become denials. And so we did something we haven't done before in this state. We did a new judicial process as it relates to just conclude the process, let us know, yes or no, can we move forward? And the first project that went under the framework that was established under SB 149 was Sites. And what could have taken quite literally and was intended by those that oppose the site at Sites, years and years, took only months because of that streamlining. It worked. We now want to expand that streamlining, and this is what you heard from Carla, to groundwater replenishment as well. Yes, she said, it's about above ground, and we're going to get Sites done, and we're going to continue to advocate for federal resources. Donald Trump, this is your kind of project. We're going to continue to advocate for local water agencies to enthusiastically embrace this. And yes, for those that are wondering what happened to Los Vaqueros and are those dollars available? Yes, they are. But they'll go through a process, and we hope Sites will apply to see if they can get some of the money, as Los Vaqueros is giving back hundreds of millions of dollars, the Prop 1 money that they were directed. We're going to continue to do everything we can to put the pressure to get this project done. It would be the 8th largest dam in California. It's an off-stream, off-river dam. It is a dam that's good for the economy. It's good for recreation. And most importantly, it's an important part of it's a critical part of our climate adaptation strategy. The world has changed. Back to the long-winded damn point about these fires in December. You can't continue to do what you've done. We've got to adapt. Our regions need to adapt. Our approach to economic development needs to adapt. Our infrastructure also needs to adapt. The world that was designed in the 1950s, the State Water Project, doesn't exist anymore. Hots are getting hotter, dries are getting drier, the wets are getting a lot wetter. You have simultaneous droughts and simultaneous rain bombs. So we've got to capture flow, and we've got to store flow above and below ground. And so we did an executive order on groundwater replenishment a year ago in terms of streamlining. And what Carla and her team were just announcing is this new groundwater plan. We'll give you the details another day. I've been talking a long time, but we're also excited about that. We have a goal. We put out 3 water plans in this state. For anyone who says, we don't have a water plan, I just roll my eyes saying, what the hell are you paying attention to? Clearly not the facts. We put out detailed water strategy in 2020 with 142 action items. We built on that a few years ago on a ratification plan that showed that we're going to lose 10% of our water supplies by 2030 or 2040, and that relates to the aridification as it relates to hots getting a lot hotter and the dryers getting drier. And then we put out a water action plan in April that is critical, and all of this was around addressing numeric goals, and one of the numeric goals is 4.1 million acre-feet of groundwater, and managing these extreme flows and getting that water pumped in a responsible way and working with local water agencies. So we got, yes, a revamped website and that, central data space. First phase focus is San Joaquin Valley. We'll roll it out across the spectrum, and the goal is to get to 60 days on the permit and allow local water agencies and others to move much more expeditiously, balancing the needs of many different users, wildlife, the environment more broadly. Number 4, there's only 5. Delta. I know it's controversial. I know not everybody here agrees the world is round. Or flat. So I respect the difference of opinion. I have a strong opinion. I think the Delta Conveyance is the most important climate adaptation project in the United States of America. It doesn't even come close. Nothing else comes close, because nothing is more important, because this impacts 27 million Californians. So we've been working hard on this project the last number of years. There are 11 water agencies that have supported the next phase of its permitting and its financial support. There is a big vote as I speak down at Met that could provide up to about $141 million to keep this project going. And so based upon the committee vote last night, I'm encouraged, but in anticipation of a successful outcome, I want to thank the board for voting for common sense and addressing the imperative of climate adaptation. We had a 5.7, 5.8 earthquake yesterday. I mean, what more reminder of a major earthquake here and the impact that would have, devastating health and public safety impact, if we don't do something to secure that conveyance. The status quo is simply not tenable. And so we're doing everything in our power to move that project forward as well. And today is a critical day and a critical vote. Met could join those 11 other agencies in advancing that cause. So therein lies the cause that brought me up here, brought me back here to, as the Assemblywoman said, one of the most beautiful parts of California. Again, I want to thank all of the regional leaders. Thank you for your faith and devotion to this cause. Thank you for your creativity and your innovative spirit. And thank you for reminding people that rural California is, yes, proud around working lands, but it's also about the remarkable diversity and the opportunity to diversify the narrative in rural America, certainly here in rural California, and talking about biotech, talking about ag tech, talking about medical tech, talking about partnerships with UC Davis, talking about the vibrancy of our community colleges, talking about dual enrollment, talking about career opportunities, talking about the things that enliven, at least my senses, and I think distill a sense of well-being in the group that was assembled, that put this plan together, is worth the 2-hour drive. So thank you all very much, and we're here to answer any questions. Thank you. Oh, we're doing all right. Well, that's it. I was going to tell you, I said no